Now after the basic operations of list, we are going to understand one of the most important topic, which is list inbuilt methods. If you are using list for your Python project, if you are using list in your data science project, then definitely you will be using these inbuilt methods. In a layman term, without these inbuilt methods, list data structure is incomplete. So here I will be explaining you some inbuilt methods which can save your lot of time. Meaning you don't need to write your own logic, just use these inbuilt methods. Now before we start using these inbuilt methods, we need to create one list. Here I request you to insert at least these number of elements 70, 80 and till 90. Okay, then here you can print this list one. So here you can see for this list inbuilt method demo we have created a new list. Okay, and here one by one I will be explaining you some inbuilt methods which plays a very important role. The first method which I will be explaining you is append. Okay, the first inbuilt method is append, and here you can pass some value. Now what this append will do for you, it is used to add, please remember that it is used to add a new item, or you can say a new data element at the end of your list. Please remember that we have this inbuilt method append. Using this append method, you can add a new data value or a data element at the end of your list. Remember this point, that where this append will going to insert the new value, it is going to insert that new value at the end of your list. How? I'll just show it to you. So what is the name of our list? List 1. Now I will be using this method append. Okay, and here I'm going to append this 100. So where this 100 will be added? At the end of my list. So if I execute this, so you can see that here 100 has been added in your list. So append can help you to insert a new element, but where? At the end of your list. Now suppose you wish to insert a new element, but that element you need to insert in between, or that element you need to insert at the starting. So you are not going to use this append. Okay, you cannot use this append because append strictly will add the element at the end. But what if we want to add a new element in between or at the starting? Then you can use this method insert. Now this inbuilt method insert will ask you two things. The first one is index number, where you wish to add that element, and the second thing, it will ask you the value which you want to insert. Okay, so the definition will remain same, that it is used to add a new element, but at any specific position, at any specific position in your list. So you can use this insert method to add a new element at any specific position in your list. How? I'll just show it to you. List 1 dot insert. Okay, and let us say I want to insert element at position number 2. Okay, and this is the element I want to insert, 200. So when I run it, so you can see, okay, let me print this list 1. Okay, and now you can see that at index number 2 a new element is being inserted. Now most of the people will think that it will going to delete the value available at index number 2. No, earlier we have this value, index number 2 is what, 30. So you can see that this 30 will be shifted. Okay, so don't think that this insert will going to delete the value of index number 2 and then it will insert 200. No, can you see that 30 is being shifted? So using this insert method, you can add new element at anywhere. If you suppose if you write index number 0, then what it will do, it will add this 200 at the very starting position. Okay, if you're at index number 2, then at index number 2 this 200 will be inserted. So what is the difference between append and insert? Append used to add the value at the end. Insert used to add a value anywhere, but you need to specify index number first and then you need to write the value. Execute these two methods. So append and insert in list help you to insert a new element. The next method which I will be explaining you is pop. Okay, so append and insert used to insert a new element, and this pop used to remove an element. So here you need to specify one index number. Okay, remember that in this pop, what actually you need to pass this index number. So what this pop will do, it is used to delete an element from specified position. Meaning here you are going to specify the index number first, and then this pop will going to delete that element. So it is used to delete an element from specified position. Now how you can use this pop? List1 dot pop. Here I am passing 2, which is an index number, and now if I print this list1, so you can see that this pop will going to delete this element and index number 2, meaning this is your updated list. So for insertion you can use either append or insert, and for deletion you can use this pop. Now in list data structure we have this method as well, named as pop. Now what is the difference between this pop and this pop? Here in this pop inbuilt method you are not going to pass any index number. So that means if no index number is specified, suppose you are using this pop without passing any index number, so if no index number is specified, it will delete the last element. So please remember, it will delete what? Automatically by default it will delete the last element if you are not passing any index number here. So that means I am using this pop but I'm not passing any index number. So what it will do, it will by default delete the last element. So if we run it, so you can see that the last element, which is 100, was now deleted. I hope that the difference has been clear. Here we pass the index number, so strictly it will delete only that index number. But if you are using this pop method without index number, then please remember it will delete the last element. And not only you have this pop and this pop, in list data structure we have this method remove as well. Okay, let me explain it to you. This remove as well. In this remove, you are not going to pass the index number, you are going to pass the value. Okay, suppose in your list you know that you have this 80 but you don't know the index number of it. Okay, in your list you know that you have this value 80 but you don't know the index number of it. So don't worry, you can use this method remove, because in pop you need to write the index number. But suppose you don't know the index number, then no worry, in list data structure we have this method remove. Now how you can use it? List1 dot remove, and here I'm going to pass the value 80. Then if I print this list1, so you can see that from your list it will going to delete this index, it will going to delete this value 80, meaning this remove method will going to check whether this value exists or not. If this value exists, then you can see that it will going to delete this value. Okay, but before you start using this remove method, you should understand some points. I told you that in a list you can have as many duplicate element, meaning suppose this is your list 1 2 3 1 1 4 5 6 1 1. Okay, imagine that if you are using this method list dot remove 1, so the thing is which one remove will delete. Okay, because we have so many ones. Okay, we have one here, we have one here, we have one here, and we have one in so many positions. So if you write like this, list dot remove 1, which one remove will delete? Okay, so the answer is remove will delete the first occurrence of 1. So meaning list, when you write like this, list dot remove 1, your final list will be this. Okay, your final list will be this because it will delete the first occurrence. Okay, so where 1 is appearing at the first time? Here. So this list dot remove 1 will going to delete the first occurrence of list. Okay, and what if you want to delete the all the occurrences of 1? Then guys, you need to use for loop. Okay, and in that for loop you need to write one condition, that if the value is equal to 1, then delete. If the value is equal to 1, then delete. Okay, so please remember this point, that if you are using duplicate element in your list, and when you try to do like this, list dot remove 1, so which one this remove will delete? It will delete the first occurrence of 1, meaning this is going to be your final result. And another point, that remove will going to check whether this value exists or not. If this value exists, it will delete that element. But suppose you are writing 800 here, which we don't have in our list, so here Python will going to give you an error. Okay, so if you try to remove that element which does not exist, so this remove method will going to give you an error at that point. I hope so. In list we have these two methods, append and insert to insertion for insertion, and then we have these three methods, pop index number, pop without index number, and we have this remove to delete the elements. Okay, so I'll just minimize it so that now you can execute. So please execute this pop and this remove. Okay, so now I will be explaining you two more methods and then we proceed. Pop, remove, we are done. The next method which I will be explaining you is reverse. So as the name suggests, it will help you to print your list in a reverse order. So this is the inbuilt method reverse. Okay, and what this reverse will do, it is used to print the list in a reverse order. So meaning if you write like this, list 1 dot reverse, and if you print this list 1, so this time you can see that your list will be printed out to you in a reverse order. Okay, so 90, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. So your list here will be printed out to you in a reverse order. Last method of list I will be discussing with you. This method sometimes plays an important role. Okay, for this you need to add a new cell. Okay, and I request you to create a new list, but in this list try to insert elements like this, meaning not in a proper order. So you can write like this, like 3 4 5 1 2 9, okay, 8 7 6. Okay, and here I'm going to write this 10. So now guys, what you can do is, if you are dealing with this kind of an information, so very easily you can sort this information either in an ascending order or in a descending order. Okay, suppose you are dealing with some collection of information and that collection of information is not organized well. So you can use this method named as sort. So now I will be explaining you this method named as sort, which is the last inbuilt method, sort. So as the name suggests, this method will help you to sort your list. So meaning if you write like this, list 1 dot sort, okay, and when you print this list 1, you can see that this time your list will be printed to you in a sorted order, in an ascending order: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, but what if you want to sort this list in a descending order? Because by default, okay, remember this, by default it will sort in ascending order. Okay, but what if you want to sort the list in a descending order? Then you need to use this approach, list1. Method will remain same, but here you need to pass this argument, reverse is equal to true. Okay, first it will going to sort the list and then it will print in a reverse order. This is how it will sort the list in descending order. Okay, so this you can use for descending order. So that means if I print this list1, so you can see this time your list will be printed out in a descending order. Okay, so these are some list inbuilt methods which you can use, especially if you are using list data structure. Out of all these methods, append sometimes plays very important role, pop plays an important role, and sometimes our data is not in a sequence, so we sort them. Okay, so meaning all these methods which I have explained you, they play a major role, especially if you are dealing with list data structure. Okay, so we are done with this list inbuilt methods. Now we discuss the last point and then we proceed with the next data structure. This is very important point, that the list is mutable in nature. Mutable mean you can see that very easily you can delete the element from the list, you can add a new element. So that meaning list is mutable in nature. Mutable in the sense, let's say you have this list 10, 20 and this 30. Okay, so this is your old list. If you print this list1, this is your old list. Now suppose you want to update this 20. Okay, you want to update this value 20, so you can write like this, list1, which index number you want to update. I want to update this index number 1, and let's make it from 20 to 200. Okay, and now if I print this list1, so you can see that very easily you can perform this kind of a modification. Even you can delete this element, even you can add a new element. Hence we call that list is a data structure which is mutable in nature. So here it completes our list data structure. List in Python programming is denoted by using square bracket notation. List is mutable in nature. We discussed about some list inbuilt methods, and remember that list is mutable in nature. Now we will be discussing about another data structure named as tuple.